Hey, I'm Josh. Welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time seeing or hearing about me, I do full stack operations and funnels as well for some of the largest coaches, creators, consultants, agency owners, and some SaaS companies as well, and all of the make money online space. Now, this video in particular is about our client Clavicular and how we scaled him from $18K to just over $437,890 in the last 2.5 months. That is over a 24x increase in revenue in just 2.5 months. So I'm gonna be breaking down for you in live time how we made that possible, the insides, the outsides, the front end, the back end, the infrastructure, the sales process of how we could possibly do that in just 2.5 months, a 24x revenue increase. So without further ado, let's just get right into it. This is the exact strategy that I used to scale Clavicular from 18K to just shy of $450,000 in the past 2.5 months. So let me break it down for you right now. The first thing is proof, because I can say all these numbers, but if I don't have anything to back it up, then I'm just another phony on the internet. This is Clav's Looker Studio that we built out for him. As you can see, $437,890 in the past 2.5 months. Now, what do we actually run for Clav? Well, we just ran a simple VSL funnel, mainly. Okay, so we built out his VSL funnel inside of Framer and redirected traffic to a Typeform, then to a Calendly round robin with about 7 different closers, and then got them onto a call confirmation page. And this is a lot more important than most people tend to think, because this is the point where people decide to hop on the call or just totally miss it in the first place. So everyone tends to have this first video playing where it's like, join the call, make sure you're set up, ready to go, make sure you're actually on the call, things like that. But they tend to neglect the actual objections that they might handle on the call. So we handled this pre-call, so people are a lot more likely to actually join because they had their questions and answers. They had their questions answered prior to the call. So all the closer really has to do is go through the results on the Typeform and the Calendly and then just close the deal and not have to worry about handling all of these crazy objections. But if you don't have this in place, I 100% recommend you do some of these videos, these objection handling videos, because it will save you so much time and it will make you so much more money, and it will increase show rate tremendously more. So a couple of different examples we did for Clav, because these are actually the most common questions that we get that pop up in the sales process. Not some basic questions that we think are the most common ones, but after actually polling the closers, the setters, and getting the results from everything, we've seen these as being the most common objections. So we decided to handle these four specific ones, which is, does this only work if you have good genetics? What if I'm too ugly? Is this only for guys? And can looks maxing have long-term health risks? And then after that, right, it's just the basic, make sure you confirm it in your calendar and inbox and show up on the call. Now, when they're actually on the call, there's a lot of different things we can go about this. We have the flagship offer, which is Clav's main group coaching offer for 3 months. We have a bunch of different upsells, downsells, and cross-sells that we can implement. And LTV and these specific kinds of offers are extremely crucial, because LTV is one of the things that's really going to drive real growth in your business, because at a certain point, you're just going to dry up leads, especially if it's an offer that's as saturated and as overdone as looks maxing for Clav, as an example, right? So we have this $47 per month school community, but we have our flagship program, and from there we can upsell, downsell, or cross-sell. So if someone buys the school community, they have a plethora of options to go through if they have the money. If they buy the flagship program, if they want more access to Clav besides just what's already in that group coaching offer, then they can upsell to any of these other programs, right? And if they want more value that they can go through on their own time for a different problem that it could solve, right? They join the school community or the starter kit, okay? LTV is so important. I cannot express this enough. Everyone tends to run like one offer, whether it be low ticket, high ticket, something else, and then just run off that and try to burn through all of the leads. But these guys already trust you if your offer and your fulfillment is actually dialed in on your business. And if it is, they are so much more likely to buy something else from you. So if they've already bought your program that's a couple $1,000s, why not just upsell them to more access from you, or to some kind of in-person event, or even just downsell them, right? Give them access to other things. So LTV is so crucial, and that's helped us tremendously throughout this entire process. Now, on the back end side of things, this Slack looks a little bit complicated, I know, but it's super streamlined. We have just over 80 people inside of this Slack covering different areas of different things. Now, for example, we have the team chat, all SOPs reference, calls booked, Typeform, new applicants, post set, post call form results, the sales notifications that pop up, right? Again, today is just 8:47 a.m. and we already have a sale that's just about $4,000, right? And the list goes on from here. Now, Something else that's really important is the calls booked section. And it's not just calls booked that pop up in our Slack, it's something else. We can see exactly who the call is assigned to from the setter and to the closer. And the setter and the closer can actually fill out a post set and post call form, which is tremendously more important than the end of day forms. Because a lot of people tend to run the end of day forms and they think their results are very streamlined, they're completely accurate, but in reality, a lot of these sales reps on these sales teams, the setters and the closers tend to forget to fill out, these end of day forms. So what doing the post set and post call forms do is it guarantees that they actually get that deal closed for them. They actually get paid for setting or closing that deal. So not only is it more beneficial to them, because if they don't set or close it after that call is being done, they don't get credit for it. But on us, we actually see the real accurate metrics of tracking all these things. So let's just say for this person, this name right here, the setter goes to the post set form link, and these forms are a little bit different. They get redirected to Airtable. And in Airtable, this is already pre-filled from this person that populated up inside the Calendly. Okay, so we have Clav as the client, set or dialed by, that person would be Ivan. The closer is assigned to Javi, and the lead name, lead email, and lead phone number are already here. All they have to do for the setter's point of view is just fill all this information, and they should have collected it anyways inside of the ManyChat DMs they ran through, right? The lead's age, the Instagram they actually DM'd, how much they can invest into themselves, into the program, their current situation, the situation that they want to be in, their why for actually choosing this program, the setter notes, if any, the team that they're dialed into, and the pipeline stage, submit. This goes to this massive spreadsheet we have across different sheets inside of this Google spreadsheet. We can track all the calls being booked with the results, and this populates back into that Looker Studio dashboard we made for Clav as well, right? So we have the lead's name, email, phone number, scheduled for X amount of time. We have the team that they're assigned to on the sales process, because we basically ran a battle royale, essentially, if you want to call it that, right? So we had a bunch of different sales managers inside of the sales process. Some of them named Colby, Alec, Teddy, another one was Kishan, who you might know on the team. And at the end of the month, whichever team collected the most cash collected and the most calls booked would get a bonus for their specific team, for themselves and for the reps, right? So all of these guys were essentially battling it out, the four different sales managers at a time to see who could actually get the most cash collected. So to actually source these reps in the first place, because you might be asking me that, how did you find like 80 people to find in the Slack, and how did you find these sales managers, or how did you find these closers and these setters? I'll tell you exactly how we did that. We built a custom dashboard through one of our clients, actually, Lovable. So what this does is we send this to all the prospects that we interview before actually hopping onto the team. We get their first name, last name, their email address, phone number. We get the actual role that they're applying to inside of our team, whether that be an operator, dialer, closer, sales manager, VA, admin, DM setter, whatever it is. Let's just say for this instance, it's DM setter because I've just been talking about that only. Department would be sales. You could also do operations because that's what we do, right? But department could be sales. Day onboarded would be today. Client is Clav, and then team is just any of those guys, those sales managers that they got assigned to that I mentioned earlier. And then this data populates into a Notion sheet and database that we have. Okay, so this information goes right into Notion. We have name, email, phone number, all of this data. We have the team they're assigned to as well, so we can track that. We have the status of their operations, right? Are they active? Are they actually active, or are they just, disactive and we have to kick them off the team, right? We get all this information, and they also get a custom Calendly link. And that's the UTM that I was talking about over here, right? This UTM link, it's the same thing as the setter, right? This actually gives the data that populates back into here for the setter to get that, those results and that credit for actually setting that appointment. So each of these setters gets a custom Calendly link that they'll send inside of the ManyChat to actually get credit for making that set, right? And this is just the entire process streamlined, pretty summarized. There's a lot more that goes into it, but this is just like an end-to-end kind of thing from an outside point of view and also an internal ops point of view. Everything, as you can see, is extremely streamlined through Zapier automations that feed into Slack, that feed into Lovable, that feed into spreadsheets, that feed into Looker Studio, and the list goes on. And this is how we were just able to do days like $33,000, right? As you can see, a couple days ago, in the same day, we got a $4,000 sale, a $3K sale, a $25,000 sale, a $2,500 sale, just over $33,000 in a day for Clavicular, which helped us aid into doing over $437,000 in 2.5 months. So hopefully this made sense for you guys. I hope this was pretty valuable. If you are any kind of coach, consultant, agency owner yourself, and you want this entire process done for you in-house, I will link my calendar down below, as well as if you want a funnel, because we build out funnels for some of the most influential and notable creators in all of the info space, some SaaS companies as well, okay? Clavicular is an obvious one. We've also done things for Marshall Cruz, Camilla, Mamba FX, the list goes on. We have a huge portfolio of names, and I'll also list that down below too. So thank you so much for watching. I hope this was valuable to you. Hope this gave you some insight, so maybe you can run this for yourself if you know how. If not, again, I am the guy. I'm the go-to guy. So thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment with any questions. I'll be happy to answer. Follow me on my Instagram as well, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.